everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Soup Bowl. I am your host, Renee Murdoch, and I am so glad that you are listening in on today. You're watching, you're sharing, you're liking, you're giving me your feedback on how you are enjoying this podcast. So thank you so much for doing life with me. I am so happy to be doing life with you. As you can tell, my voice is a little bit better. But, we're still going through some things because guess what? This pollen is not our friend. It is not my friend. I don't know about you, but definitely it's not. So one day it could be all good, and then the next moment it's like, what? What happened? Right? And so here we are. Yes, I take medicine. Yes, I do all the things, ginger and everything. And so, hey. So that's just the way it is. It's just going to be like this for a little bit. But my throat doesn't hurt again. So anyway, but again, thank you so much for tuning in to see what's going on, chopping it up with me. I truly appreciate it. And I'm enjoying chopping it up with you as well. So, send me some, things that you want to talk about, some things that you want to, muse over a little bit or see what my thoughts or views are about it. And so we can just, share some things or two, whatever. But you can contact me at www.formosaic.com or email me at info@formosaic. And so you also can hit me up on social media, my personals, or if not, you can go to @formosaic coach. So just hit me up and let's just continue this conversation. So today I want to talk about, something that I think that we forget. We know, but we forget. And I want to remind you today of how important it is for you to know and understand who you are. Because when you get in certain situations, it's important that you respond a certain way to get the results that you want. So we are in a time currently right now that is very uncertain. Like, we don't know, right, what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Like, our current president, have signed over 100 executive orders, and you just don't know what's going to happen, right? And so, there's these jokes about it, running jokes and things like even if you Google, right, and look up like how many executive orders like each president have actually signed. There's I don't know if this is going to go in the Guinness Book of World Records or whatnot, but I mean, on Inauguration Day, it was they was prepared, they was just dropping them out like that. And then people was like, what? Normally, people, we're used to someone coming in and, some things are still the same, and then eventually things start, changing a little bit or whatever, and things that we're going to implement, things we're not, how we need to answer this, right? But no, let me tell you, it was head spinning, okay, out here. People was like, what's happening? And so I laugh because when someone's going to tell you what they're going to do, you better believe them. You better believe them, because people is like, I didn't know they were going to do that. Now you know. So, but as we're in this space, right? And a lot of times we have been taught, right, that the government and government employment is the safe place to be. Get on that job. Do a good job, excel, in that area until it's time to retire. Same thing they tell you about going into the service, right? These rules, right, that we have, or I don't want to say rules, but just like these guidelines that we tend to continue to pass down from generation to generation, which has harmed us. Harmed us a lot, right? To the point where we think that the generation coming up now, right, are lazy. There is some truth and there is some dishonesty to that as well, right? Because there are some that's just lazy, right? We're like, you don't want to work, you don't want to do nothing, right? So there's some truth to that. And then the other truth is, no, I don't want to get on a job and stay there for the rest of my life, right? And wait for my pension to come. No, right? So we think that there's no loyalty in the person that, goes from a job to another job to another job to another job, right? We think there's no loyalty. And that's not actually true, right? So we need to think that. But those that have that type of mindset, what's happening now is not really affecting them like it's affecting those who believe that you get on this job and you stay there on this job and you don't do anything else until you've done your 30 years and then it's time to go. And so here we are now where people have lost their jobs in the government. They lost their jobs in the government. And it's just like we like people are surprised, they're shocked. They're going through a lot of emotions right now. Angry, bitterness, grief, sorrowfulness. It's just a lot of things going on. Some people are relieved. Some people are happy. So there's a lot of emotions that are being displayed during this time. And the thing about it is that it's not one particular group of people. It like it's not just women. It's not just men. It's not just Hispanics. It's not just Caucasians. It's not Africans or African Americans or blacks or Asian. It's everybody. Everyone is being affected if you are in the government space. And if you are connected to the government in some shape or form. Contracting, right? Trainers, whatever, services. We are all being affected, right? By this new administration. And so I want to remind you that your sanity, your quality of life does not lie in the hands of a government job. It does not. I'm going to say that again. Your quality of life and your sanity does not lie in the hands of a government job. You are more than that job. You are more than that job. Who are you outside of that job? Who are you? Did you become the job? See, I think sometimes we've come into spaces a lot of times in organizations that we become that particular role. And without that role, we can't identify who we are, right? And like not even in government spaces, but just in a lot of spaces, right? Whether it's if you're working for the county, you're in the service, right? In ministry, you've become this role, and it's a function. It is not who you are. Who are you without that role? Who are you without that job? Who are you without that title? Who are you without that position? You must know who you are. You must know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, then you will be in a place of feeling as though you have been defeated. You're not defeated. You're not defeated. You're not defeated because you are more than that job. There is so much inside of you. There are so many skills inside of you that job can't even do it you justice. It's like a lot of times, like in in the government space, like people come like, oh, I just want to serve my country in some capacity, right? I don't want to go into the service, but I still can serve my country by doing what? By being a public servant. And so this is the way I'm choosing to do that. So can you be a public service doing something else? you really gave your country like your gift. You're giving them something, right? Because you could have went somewhere else and made more money, but you decided that you were going to serve your country, serve the citizens of the United States of America. Now, you probably wasn't thinking that, but I'm just putting that spin on that because that's the way I look at it for myself. But of course, I was older, or whatnot. So that's just a little bit more, living life, speaking right there. But in the beginning, of course, you're not thinking that way, right? Probably when you just came into that space. But there's individuals that went to college, have law degrees, or got their PhD in something, or they've got their doctorate in something. They are doctors, they're nurses, and they come into the government. But they could have went into the corporate space, right? The private sector, and made more money. And now we're saying, yeah, no, we don't need you anymore. And so now you're in a space of like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I lost my job. I don't have anything else. That's a lie. That's a lie. That is a lie. You have lots of things. You have lots of things. Like, I'm talking to people literally almost every day. And I'm listening to the things that they're saying. And our words are so powerful. They are so powerful because they become our belief systems. The things that we say out of our mouth is something that we're believing. And there's a root cause to why we're believing what we believe, right? And so I say it all the time. I might feel this way today, but tomorrow might be something else, right? Because that's just where I'm at right now. And so if you're saying to yourself that you don't know what you would do, I'm talking about the government, but I just want to just make this more broad into the space of employment, period. And you're saying that you don't know what you would do without this particular job, and you were let go tomorrow, because there's so much anxiety that's happening right now that people that haven't been let go yet, but they're still there, and they haven't got involuntarily separated yet, but they're still waiting to see what these agencies are going to do, and they just can't not function. They don't know what to do. Okay, and so I'm going to tell you that you need to remind yourself who you are. It's just simple as that. Remind yourself who you are. You are not that job. You are not that job. And so what can I be doing? I want to talk about three main things, right? And hopefully we get to all of them. But there's three main things that you need to be doing, that you must do to get yourself out of this thought process of, I have nothing else. I don't know what's going to come. I might have to go, do Uber driving. And if that's what you want to do, go do that. That's the other part, right? If that's what you want to do, then go do that. But the first thing is, what are your career goals? What are your career goals? Because sometimes we make things a job, and I've been saying that because that's the last time we think about that, versus the career. But what are your career goals? Then secondly, you need to update that resume. You need to get that resume out, dust it off. You probably don't even know where the last resume at that you probably submitted. You don't know. You have years of experience that you don't even have written down. And then lastly, build an online presence. So I'm going to go through each of these, but these are the main three that I believe that you need to start doing right now. Yesterday, last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. You need to do it, right? Because we are, and I said I was going to, because somebody was counting, but I really wasn't counting. But you talk about the 120 days, but I wasn't counting like that. So we are I'm looking on my phone. So if you're listening and not watching, that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Um, what? Why is it saying that? We're past that. You're talking about the first 100 days. How he's going to implement, he's already doing it. It's not saying. I'm going to find out, and maybe I'll put anything. But anyway, I was trying to find out like how many days we're in because I stopped counting. Anyway, I was the new administrator. But anyway, you need to start. Okay, when we're talking about, again, our career goals, what are your career goals? Are you at a point in your life where you want to continue to keep working for someone else in the traditional form of working the 80-hour weeks? Is that what you want to continue doing? Or do you want to take more of an entrepreneurship route and launch out and do something that you've always wanted to do but was a little bit apprehensive, a little bit fearful of doing that? Or you want to completely not go into a working space but would like to be consulted here and there, doing some freelancing or whatnot? You got to answer those questions, because all of that depends on, again, the quality of life that you want to have or want to continue having or aspire to have. These are things that you need to know the answer to, because everything else after that is what's going to get you there. Do you know your strengths and your weaknesses? I think I mentioned this before in another podcast, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But we focus a lot on our weaknesses versus on our strengths. Our strengths are things that come natural to us, like, it's just part of our makeup of who we are, our gifting. And then there's those things that are weakness where we really got to work hard at. And what I'm saying is, look, know your weaknesses, but why would I give so much attention to them that my weakness is never going to be my strength? So why not make those strengths even more skillful? Right? I've become more skillful in that because I'm already naturally good in this. Now I'm going to continue to become that subject matter expert in this area. And then I'm going to get people around me that my weakness, those are their strengths. Because again, we're not here to do life alone, people. We're not here to do life alone. And that is the reason why me, cannot do all things well for that very purpose, so that we have to work together. That's just how it's designed. And then ask yourself, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? What are you willing not to do? Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Then what do you want to do? Right? I used to ask my son, bro, like, what do you want to do? Okay, you don't want to do food service. Okay, great. Okay, you don't want to work outside. Okay, great. Oh, I don't want to deal with plants. Okay, great. I don't want to deal with machinery. Okay, what do you want to do? What are you willing to do? If you want to go out there and you want to make money, you want to play games, then become skillful at it and make some money with your quality of life of doing it. Don't play games for 8 to 12 hours a day and you ain't make no money off of it, but then you want other people to pay your way. Don't work like that. Don't work like that. But what are you willing to do, right? Are you willing to get up and to drive an hour and a half in traffic to get to a place of employment? If you don't want to do that no more, then that's not the type of thing that you're looking for. As soon as you see that, and they don't have telework options or work from anywhere, then you don't want to do it. Are you willing to leave where you currently live at? Are you willing to move into another state, into another region, to another country? Why not? Why not? I'm willing to move to another country. That's just me. I'm willing to move. I'm always willing to move somewhere. I just like moving. Not moving stuff, but I just like going to new places and new environments. Literally, I really want to go stay like in, a country, right, where I can really, experience maybe some people that are still functioning, operating in their cultures or whatnot, and live there, for some months or whatever. That's always been, something I wanted to do. So I get to do it one day. So anyway, but know what you're willing to do, not only what you're not willing to do. Okay? So next is, once you know that, right, it can help you in your job search or going along in your career and your career goals. Then you want to update your resume. Like I said before, some of you all have been in the government for, since you were 18, 20, 22, and you have not been anywhere else other than that particular space. Update your resume. You have had so much training. You have went through so many programs, right? You have volunteered in so many different areas. You're no longer 18, right? You're so much older. And so what have you done in that time? You've done a lot of things. So I guarantee you all those things are not on your resume. All those things are not on your resume. You want to make sure that you have keywords, right, on your resume too, right? There's certain things, especially the type of position that you're going for, right, can speak to that. Did you develop? Did you create? Did you assist? Did you build, something, right? Did you lead, right? Did you, and one thing I want to mention too is use numbers. Use numbers when you can. Like, how many people did you lead, right? How many people did this project affect? Was there money that was saved? Was there a good turnaround, right, in that project or program? Was the satisfactory rate, right? What was the experience with the people that you were serving? All of these things are important. And not only that, but don't just say what you did, but what was the results of that? What was the results out of that? Because a lot of times we write our resume and what we did, but we're not saying what was the results, right? And then to tie this all together, before they even get there, to make you stand out from the bunch, you want to have a cover letter, right, that tailors to that particular position. You want to tell them how great you are, right up front. I'm great. I'm going to be great for this position because da-da-da-da. And it doesn't need to be more than one page. Your cover letter should not be 3 pages. It should be 1 page. 1 page, people. 1 page. All right? And you want to make sure, again, that you're tailoring it to the job description. You know why we do that? Because there's keywords that the system is looking for, and that is the first review, the first round. Because if it's not speaking to what we're talking about, then I don't even need to sit there and go through this resume. So most things are automated systems, and if they don't have keywords in there that they're looking for, then guess what? You didn't make the first cut. You just didn't make it. Because the company wants to know, can you speak our language? The language that's talking at Chick-fil-A is not the language that's going to be talking at Boeing. It's just not. So make sure you're looking at the job description. Government resume versus corporate resume is completely different. Even ministry resume is completely different, right? Creatives, completely different. When you're doing a resume for the government, they don't want no resume with your face on it and, lights and cameras and action. Creative resume, you want your face and the pictures and all this type of stuff, lights, camera, action, your work, whatever it may be, right? We don't want just words, just black and white, it's plain, we don't, no. So just, again, making sure that you're speaking the organization language in that. And please, people, do not have a resume that is longer than 5 pages. No one is reading it. No one is going to read it. They did not ask you to submit a short story. They didn't ask you to submit a manuscript. They're asking for resumes. So 3 to 5 pages, gonna get you there, and it's really good. Up front, you want to have your skills, right? That speaks to that particular thing. We don't need to know what you did when you were 18. We don't need to know that. We don't need to know that you worked at McDonald's or wherever you were working at. I don't even think I know some of the things back then or whatever. We don't need to know those things, okay? So keep an eye on your resume. All right, the last one we're going to talk about is build an online presence. And this goes to those of you who do not believe in social media. In this day and time, you need to be on social media, okay, to lock in what it is that you're looking for. Whether you are a young adult, whether you are in your prime and you're still wanting to be in this space, right? Regardless, remember the 3 things that I said up front about what it is that you want to do, right? Whether it's the traditional, the 80 hours, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you're looking to freelance, you still need to be in the social media space. Because why? Because that's where you're going to get your networking at. That's where you're going to get in the key information about the industry or even the organization that you want to be in. People are connecting, right? And it's all about who you know, all right, to get into certain spaces. I met this young lady we were at I think it was the Ronald Reagan building, right? We were talking and she says to me, she says, oh, and this is even the government space. She says, oh, all my positions have come from, talking to people in the government spaces or where they were at an agency. She had been on her, I think, 5th agency. And, she was there longer than, 2 years. She told me that. But she says that is how she was finding out about positions in certain spaces and talk to see, like, do I really want to go there? Like, really how, because it could look great on paper, but do I really want to go to that agency? Do I really want to be in that culture? Because all that matters. So, again, you want to get into social media. LinkedIn is a place for professional networking. It's a place for professional networking. It is not a place for your political agenda. It is not a space to talk about your boo and your, all your relationship issues and your children and all of that. It is a professional networking place, people. Keep it like that. Because I think I saw something on there and somebody was like, are we trying to turn this into Facebook and IG and all these other type and Twitter? No, stay on Twitter. You tweet over there, right? And you do all that over there on Facebook and all that. Facebook, keep up with your peoples from your past and all that kind of great stuff. But LinkedIn, come on, people. Let's keep it professional. All right. We kind of trying to cross the lines here. And I'm with that gent. I'm with the dude on that one. So again, LinkedIn, get up on there, right? And start looking for people in organizations that you are interested in, and lock in and network there. There's networking groups, again, that you can go to for free, networking opportunities, right? That you can just chumming up with people, figure out what's going on in those workspaces or whatever. And then you might know people. Do not be ashamed, right, that you are in this space. And ask people, do they know someone in this area? Can you, connect me with whoever? Don't be ashamed. We're all human beings. We've all been in a place of where we are looking, right, for the things that we want to do next, of employment or make money, however we want to identify it. At this point is making money to keep up our quality of life or get to the quality of life that we want. So don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Do some mock interviews, right? And again, talk to other people. You are not going to get anywhere if you are not willing to open up your mouth. Open your mouth and talk to people. And then at the same time, as you're going through this and you are in the place where you have lost the job already, you received the letter and you're out of the government space, and you're like, okay, I still want to serve, whatever, then look into your county, right, and serving in that space, if that's what you want to continue to do. But again, look at all these things, right? What is your goal? Update your resume and build that online presence. And do know that it is okay, and it's going to be okay, and everything's going to work out. And it is okay to be in a place of grief right now. Grief is not just losing someone to death. Grief is just, it's about loss, right? Whatever that it may be, it's about loss. And it's okay to be in that place right now as well. But as you're in that place, do know that that job does not define you. That there is more in you than you can imagine when you begin to tap in. They are not the ones that made you, okay? They do not own you. And so do the great things that's inside of you. I cannot say that enough, because I just believe that we have locked into a system that is all wrong and is not meant for us to excel and prosper in every way. And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is by knowing our value and then taking what belongs to us back, right? And that is understanding the value of who we are. So again, all right, everyone, that's all we have. Went over a little bit, so I was trying to speed it up because I just have so many thoughts and opinions about this. But okay, we're at our time. I thank you so much for tuning in, and do know that leading is teachable. I love you. There's nothing that you can do about it. And until next time.